My heart has stirred a whir. I am telling my works to the King. You have been beautified above the sons of men. Grace has been poured into your lips. Therefore God has blessed you for all time.
Today's reading from the Old Testament, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1 through chapter 12, verse 31. And you have loved your God Yahweh, and kept his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commands for all the days. And you have known today, for it is not your sons who have not known, and who have not seen the discipline of your God Yahweh, his greatness, his strong hand, and his outstretched arm, and his signs and his doings, which he has done in the midst of Egypt, to Pharaoh king of Egypt, and to all his land. And that which he has done to the force of Egypt, to its horses and to its chariot, when he has caused the waters of the Red Sea to flow against their faces in their pursuing after them, and Yahweh destroys them to this day. And that which he has done to you in the wilderness, until your coming to this place. And that which he has done to Dathan and to Abiram, sons of Eliab, sons of Reuben, when the earth has opened her mouth and swallows them, and their houses, and their tents, and all that lives which is at their feet, in the midst of all Israel. But it is your eyes which are seeing all the great work of Yahweh which he has done. And you have kept all the command which I am commanding you today, so that you are strong, and have gone in and possessed the land to where you are passing over to possess it. And so that you prolong days on the ground which Yahweh has sworn to your fathers to give to them, and to their seed, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land to where you are going in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt from where you have come out, where you sow your seed and have watered with your foot as a garden of the green herb. But the land to where you are passing over to possess it is a land of hills and valleys. It drinks water of the rains of the heavens. A land which your God Yahweh is searching. The eyes of your God Yahweh are continually on it, from the beginning of the year even to the latter end of the year. And it has been, if you listen diligently to my commands, which I am commanding you today, to love your God Yahweh, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. Then I have given the rain of your land in its season, autumn rain and spring rain, and you have gathered your grain and your new wine and your oil. And I have given herbs in your field for your livestock, and you have eaten and been satisfied. Take heed to yourselves, lest your heart be enticed, and you have turned aside and served other gods, and bowed yourselves to them. And the anger of Yahweh has burned against you, and he has restrained the heavens, and there is no rain, and the ground does not give her increase, and you have perished quickly from off the good land which Yahweh is giving to you. And you have placed these words of mine on your heart and on your soul, and have bound them for a sign on your hand, and they have been for frontlets between your eyes. And you have taught them to your sons by speaking of them in your sitting in your house, and in your going in the way, and in your lying down, and in your rising up. And have written them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days are multiplied, and the days of your sons, on the ground which Yahweh has sworn to your fathers to give to them, as the days of the heavens above the earth. For if you diligently keep all this command which I am commanding you to do, to love your God Yahweh, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave to him, then Yahweh has dispossessed all these nations from before you, and you have possessed nations greater and mightier than you. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads is yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river, the Euphrates River, even to the western sea is your border. No man stations himself in your presence. Your God Yahweh puts your dread and your fear on the face of all the land on which you tread, as he has spoken to you. See, today I am setting before you a blessing and a reviling. The blessing when you listen to the commands of your God Yahweh, which I am commanding you today. And the reviling if you do not listen to the commands of your God Yahweh, and have turned aside from the way which I am commanding you today, to go after other gods which you have not known. And it has been, when your God Yahweh brings you into the land to where you are going to possess it, that you have given the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the reviling on Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond the Jordan? behind the way of the going in of the sun, in the land of the Canaanite who is dwelling in the plain opposite Gilgal, near the oaks of Morah? For you are passing over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which your God, Yahweh, is giving to you, and you have possessed it and dwelt in it. And observe to do all the statutes and the judgments which I am setting before you today. These are the statutes and the judgments which you observe to do in the land which Yahweh, God of your fathers, has given you to possess it, all the days that you are living on the ground. You utterly destroy all the places where the nations which you are dispossessing served their gods, on the high mountains and on the heights, and under every green tree. And you have broken down their altars and shattered their standing pillars, and you burn their Asherim with fire, and you cut down carved images of their gods, and have destroyed their name out of that place. You do not do so to your God Yahweh. Rather, that you seek after the place which your God Yahweh chooses out of all your tribes to put his name there, for his dwelling place, and you have entered there, and have brought in there your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and the raised offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your free will offerings, and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And you have eaten there before your God Yahweh, and have rejoiced in every putting forth of your hand, you and your households, with which your God Yahweh has blessed you. You do not do according to all that we are doing here today, each doing anything that is right in his own eyes. For until now you have not come to the rest and to the inheritance which your God Yahweh is given to you. When you have passed over the Jordan and have dwelt in the land which your God Yahweh is causing you to inherit, and he has given rest to you from all your surrounding enemies, and you have dwelt confidently, then it has been the place on which your God Yahweh fixes to cause his name to dwell there. There you bring in all that which I am commanding you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and the raised offering of your hand, and all the choice of your vows which you vow to Yahweh. And you have rejoiced before your God Yahweh, you and your sons and your daughters and your manservants and your handmaids, and the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no part in inheritance with you. Take heed to yourself, lest you cause your burnt offerings to ascend in any place which you see. Rather, that in the place which Yahweh chooses, in one of your tribes, there you cause your burnt offerings to ascend, and there you do all that which I am commanding you. Nevertheless, you slaughter anything of the desire of your soul, and have eaten its flesh according to the blessing of your God Yahweh, which he has given to you in all your gates. The unclean and the clean eat it, as if the roe and as if the deer. Only you do not eat the blood, you pour it out on the earth as water. You are not able to eat within your gates the tithe of your grain, and of your new wine, and your oil, and the firstlings of your herd, and of your flock, and any of your vows which you vow, and your free will offerings, and a raised offering of your hand. But you eat it before your God Yahweh in the place which your God Yahweh fixes on, you and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your handmaid and the Levite who is within your gates, and you have rejoiced before your God Yahweh in every putting forth of your hand. Take heed to yourself, lest you forsake the Levite for all your days on your ground. When your God Yahweh enlarges your border, as he has spoken to you, and you have said, let me eat flesh, for your soul desires to eat flesh, you eat flesh of all the desire of your soul. When the place is far from you, in which your God Yahweh chooses to put his name there, then you have sacrificed from your herd and from your flock, which Yahweh has given to you, as I have commanded you, and have eaten within your gates all the desire of your soul. Only as the roe and the deer is eaten, so do you eat it. The unclean and the clean alike eat it. Only be sure not to eat the blood, for the blood is the life, and you do not eat the life with the flesh. You do not eat it, you pour it on the earth as water. You do not eat it in order that it may be well with you and with your sons after you, when you do that which is right in the eyes of Yahweh. Only your holy things which you have, and your vows you take up, and have gone to the place which Yahweh chooses. And you have made your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, on the altar of your God Yahweh. And the blood of your sacrifices is poured out by the altar of your God Yahweh, and you eat the flesh. Observe, and you have obeyed all these words which I am commanding you, in order that it may be well with you and with your sons after you for all time, when you do that which is good and right in the eyes of your God Yahweh. When your God Yahweh cuts off the nations to where you are going in to possess them from your presence, and you have possessed them and have dwelt in their land, take heed to yourself, lest you are ensnared after them, after their being destroyed out of your presence, unless you inquire about their gods, saying, how do these nations serve their gods, that I also do so? You do not do so to your God Yahweh, for every abomination that Yahweh has hated, they have done for their gods, for they even burn their sons and their daughters with fire for their gods. Today's reading from the New Testament, Luke chapter 8, verse 48 through chapter 9, verse 13. While he is yet speaking, there comes a certain one from the chief of the synagogue's house, saying to him, your daughter has died, do not harass the teacher. And Jesus, having heard, answered him, saying, do not be afraid, only believe, and she will be saved. And having come into the house, he permitted no one to go in except Peter and James and John, and the father of the child and the mother. And they were all weeping and beating themselves for her. And he said, do not weep. She did not die, but sleeps. And they were deriding him, knowing that she died. And he, having put all forth outside, and having taken hold of her hand, called, saying, child, arise. And her spirit came back, and she arose immediately. And he directed that there be given to her to eat. And her parents were amazed, but he charged them to say to no one what had come to pass. And having called together his 12 disciples, he gave them power and authority over all the demons and to cure diseases. And he sent them to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal the ailing. And he said to them, take nothing for the way, neither staff, nor leather pouch, nor bread, nor money, neither have 2 coats each. And into whatever house you may enter, remain there, and depart from there. And as many as may not receive you, going forth from that city, even the dust from your feet shake off, for a testimony against them. And going forth, they were going through the several villages, proclaiming good news and healing everywhere. And Herod the Tetrarch heard of all the things being done by him, and was perplexed, because it was said by some that John had been raised from the dead, and by some that Elijah appeared, and by others that a prophet, one of the ancient, was risen. And Herod said, I beheaded John, but who is this concerning whom I hear such things? And he was seeking to see him. And the apostles, having turned back, declared to him how they did great things, and having taken them, he withdrew by himself into a city called Bethsaida. And the multitudes, having known, followed him, and having received them, he was speaking to them concerning the kingdom of God, and he cured those having need of service. And the day began to decline, and the 12, having come near, said to him, let away the multitude, that having gone into the surrounding villages and the fields, they may lodge and find provision, because here we are in a desolate place. And he said to them, you give them to eat. And they said, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except having gone, we may buy food for all this people. Today's reading from the Psalms, chapter 45, verse 1 through 6. To the overseer, set on lilies, an instruction of the sons of Korah, a song of loves. My heart has stirred a good word. I am telling my works to the king. My tongue is the pen of a speedy writer. You have been beautified above the sons of men. Grace has been poured into your lips. Therefore, God has blessed you for all time. Gird your sword on the thigh, O mighty one, your splendor and your majesty. As for your majesty, prosper and ride, because of truth, meekness, and righteousness, and your right hand shows you fearful things. Your arrows are sharp, peoples fall under you, in the heart of the enemies of the king. Your throne, O God, is for all time and forever. A scepter of uprightness is the scepter of your kingdom. Today's reading from the Proverbs, chapter 9, verses 3 and 4. She has sent forth her girls. She cries on the tops of the high places of the city. Who is simple? Let him turn aside here. Whoever lacks heart, she has said to him.
But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. Do not weep, she did not die, but sleeps. Child, arise.
She has sent forth her girls. She cries on the tops of the high places of the city. Who is simple? Let him turn aside here.